Welcome back to another episode of the Cody Tucker Show. As always, I'm your host, Cody Tucker. Today, I'm joined by a very special guest, the one and only Miss Kaiia Eve. How are you doing?
Hello, I'm doing pretty good. Just chilling.
Good. Yeah, no, this is going to be fun. I've been looking forward to talking with you. So before we kick into everything, go ahead and plug, promote, where can people find you, all that good stuff.
Yeah. So first off, if you're listening, not watching, you spell my name Kaiia space Eve. So the KaiiaEve.com, that's my main website. You can find literally anything and everything that exists about me there. But on Twitter, it's /Kaiia_Eve. And my Instagram is at PR0CVNT, which stands for pro cunt. And that is me.
Nice. Yeah, that's so I have a million questions, so I'm gonna try to not just bombard you with shit. Um for Do you do customs? Because this is always a fascinating
Yes.
avenue to me. Okay, I have to ask. I ask everybody this, and it's just because I love diving into like the weird shit people are into. What is like the weirdest thing you've ever been like requested of for?
Yeah. So I guess it's a little less weird for me now since I've been doing this for 7 years.
Hmm.
When I started almost 7 years ago, oh my God, in October that'll be my 7th year in October.
Jesus.
I know, I can't even believe it. I look the exact same except hotter. So I was when I started, I lived in Denver.
Okay.
There was a really small group of creators there. Like OnlyFans was not really a thing yet. Like
Yeah.
it existed, but you could post whatever you wanted during these times, and they did not flag you because it did not matter because they were not looking. So this is this era. I had a creator. We worked together quite a lot. They got a custom video order for us as sisters, and
biological, I guess.
Yes, we were related sisters.
Hell yeah!
And I was the more dominant sister, but her and I still lived in this guy's harem, and we lived in a room where I would feed my sister, and I had to fatten her up, and the fatter I would get her, the better she would fuck. God. And I would have to it was like a 3-part series. I think the video will still be up on my mini vids, like way, way back yonder. And I'd have to like check her, like her weight by fucking her with a strap on. And the harder it was to move her with the strap on, that's how we knew that she would then be fat enough as a turkey on Thanksgiving, I believe was the quote.
Holy shit.
For him to finally have sex with. And then I would present my sister to the master of the harem. Now, I would not take a custom video like that anymore because I would never live in a man's harem. I've since learned in 7 years I'm not about that. But yeah, it was still fun. All I did, I fed her little cakes from Whole Foods and told her how plump she was getting. And then I weighed her with my strap on. Now, I don't know. That's how it worked. That's the magic.
Yeah. I mean, the science doesn't quite check out, but it's like a suspension of disbelief.
It does in Portland, actually. That's math, as a matter of fact.
I mean, Avatar doesn't really make sense either, but that movie made.
And you want to know what else doesn't make sense? So I love all the alien movies, right? I've been young. I was young watching them all. So I don't know. I never watched them in the correct start of the timeline.
For sure. Same.
So we just did that. I did that in the last 2 weeks. And I am just so bummed at how many holes are in the alien plot.
It's so bad.
I'll like ask a question. I'll be like, Frankie, what is this part that's happening? And he's like, well, you see, it's a good question you ask, but there's not really an answer. And I'm like, this is killing me.
It I know that you're supposed to have a suspension of disbelief when you watch movies, but you
Sure.
shouldn't have to ignore plot holes. Like, yeah, suspension of disbelief to me is, well, obviously nobody aliens aren't real and they're not going on a spaceship. That's the disbelief. But in the movie, there shouldn't be me going, well, this is a bunch of fucking bullshit. And
I
yeah,
What do you mean that the aliens are on Earth in 2004? I'm not. I Wait. Okay, Predator can have that one. They can keep it. That
yes, which
I don't claim it. Okay.
yeah, I'm with you. Which I fucking love Predator. The first one. The first
I
Predator is one of my favorite movies.
Fabulous.
Yeah.
I just actually watched for the first time because I'm now doing Predator. I'm at
Yeah.
like I think I'm at AVP 2 right now.
Oh, that's a
But
rough one.
I watched the Predator movies more when I was younger than the Alien movies because my brother loved the Predator movies
Hmm.
more than the Alien movies.
Yeah.
But I just
Yeah.
watched Prey for my first time for the full
It's
through.
amazing.
I love her. You can keep my attention if you just put a hot ass babe in the movie.
That okay, so I never really I mean, I don't know if I necessarily have a type, like, hot is hot, kinda in my position, yeah.
Agreed.
Yes, exactly, and I can't really be exactly super picky, but that girl in that movie, that is my type.
Like
I
she could rip you apart. My type. Yeah.
That is what I want. I want someone that because I've said this a few times, like sex to me is way more fun. Dominant, submissive, all that kind of shit, is what it is. I like it whenever it's two dominant people, which I
Yeah.
consider myself to be a pretty dominant person. Like
Yeah.
I'm a little controlling, not like jealous controlling. I just like things done the way I like them done, if that
I
makes
can
sense.
relate.
Yeah, I like making decisions. I do not ever want someone to make a decision for me,
Trust
if
me,
that
I'm
makes
team
sense.
leader in Fortnite. I get it. I am making decisions where we're
Yes.
going.
I've always been that way. I've always been, I'll just make the decisions because I'll do them like
I'll just
super
do the
quick.
whole class project, actually.
Oh
I'll
my
do it all
God.
and then we'll get an A. It's fine. I'll
You,
handle it. I'm not even gonna get mad at you guys. I'm just gonna do it.
I have known you for about 8 minutes and 47 seconds. We are the exact same person.
Yeah,
This is, I am,
I get it.
I hated doing group projects, hated it. I
Okay.
always was just like, let me just do the whole group's worth of work on my own and let me just get graded from what I did.
Yeah, well,
Oh,
I was not allowed to do that, so I'd be like, "Okay, let me do the work, and then I'll just show you what you're gonna say you did."
well, yeah, exactly. I mean, that's what would end up happening because, yeah, they wouldn't let me do that. So I would just be like, all right, y'all can just do whatever the fuck y'all want. I'm going to handle this.
Relatable.
Yeah.
It's
So
so funny, I didn't know that I was a dominant person until, like, 3 years into this industry.
that's funny. So that's not a personality change necessarily. Like you've always been that way. You just maybe didn't recognize it.
Oh, I've always been very bossy, yes. I
But
just
did you know that you were, or like this is something you found out
in
later?
before, like, in normal life,
Hmm.
pre-Kaiia, I was a bitch. That's what people told me I was. You're a bitch. And then I realized I'm like, whoa, I'm not really a bitch. Wow, I have boundaries. I'm
Hmm.
outspoken when I need to be. I don't let you walk all over me. And now I think we recognize that as positive. But
Is
17 years ago, when you're
Yeah,
surrounding yourself with a bunch of misogynistic men in the hardcore scene,
yeah.
like obviously I'm just a dumb bitch, but
Isn't that funny how that's considered being a bitch? Is
like
to just be a like someone who
sorry, I'm
has
smarter than you and prettier than you. It's really not my fault.
look,
I didn't
I've
ask for
been
this life.
yeah, I've been saying that, for decades. It's yeah, it falls on deaf ears most of the time, but
Amen.
yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's just funny that that's considered being a bitch. Like to just know what you want in life and do it and don't settle for shit and speak your mind, which is what all adults should be doing.
Yeah.
There is something obviously though about it being if you're a woman, then it's obviously such a different thing. Because if you're a guy and you're like that, then damn, that's a tenacious guy. And
Yeah. And I think there like is like also this like need for a lot of humans who I think women like there's like a need sometimes. I don't know. I don't want to say women. That's why I said humans. Like
yeah,
when you don't get something in life, right? Like you might want that from other places. So when you're 15, oh, I'll be this way because I want this person to love me.
Yeah.
But in reality, I'm like, wow, that's not really who I am. And then you realize you don't have to be anyone for like, love because that
Yeah.
wasn't love, and you just
Yeah.
grow up a little bit. And that's another thing about this industry too, though, is like segueing just a tiny bit. It's
Hmm.
like, I just wish that we had like a little bit better of a way to get people into this industry, right? Because like I'm 18 and I still have like figuring out my boundaries. I didn't figure out boundaries until I was like 24, 25,
Yeah.
Like that's like a really like important part of your life that you're figuring shit out. And then I started porn when I was at 24, 25. And
Okay.
I
Yeah.
had like a voice then. Like I wasn't afraid then. And I realized like I don't need to shut up to be heard, if you will.
Hmm.
Like, oh, if I just like don't talk as much, they'll listen to me more. No, I'm gonna be very outspoken. I don't give a fuck if you don't like what I have to say. And I just don't think that that comes naturally for a lot of people until you learn those things about yourself.
Yeah.
And I think that's why this industry can, people really can take an advantage of because people see that and bad people take advantage of people like,
Right.
you know,
Yeah. And it's not necessarily like an industry problem. It's just a human behavior problem. You know,
100%.
I mean, obviously in porn, I mean, as an industry, it's more spoken about that those kinds of things happen because people, obviously there's so many people who are very anti-porn and that's what they always go to, that like it's
100%.
that it's a fucking cesspool of, people being screwed over, which fucking so is every job. you
Every
think
job.
people you think people don't get screwed over at Walmart? Like
Yeah.
I worked at a Walmart for 7 hours and it was the worst experience of my life.
Dude, I worked at McDonald's. I get it,
God,
I
yes,
do. I just
it's
wish
yeah.
there was a way, like, because of that, right? Because of what we're saying, like, we realize that this is an issue, like a fundamental issue on, like, not just porn level, on like a literal scaled level.
Mhm.
I just wish we could figure out a way to help that, and I don't really know how you do that.
Well, there are some people who want to present themselves as being dominant, like in control, in charge, who aren't really that way as a person. They just want to give off that persona. So they need people around who will listen to everything they say and do whatever they want. So it's like the one group keeps the other group employed, if that makes sense.
100%. Yeah,
So yeah,
absolutely.
yeah. And that's a big problem. Like because people who are genuinely that way want other people that are like that. Like like me, I want people around who are also very like strong-willed and outspoken. That's what I'm attracted to. Whether it's, not just sexually, but like as friends, like I want my friends like to be like that.
Right, right.
Yeah. I don't want a yes man around or a yes woman.
100%. No, I agree.
Yeah.
Like say something. I'm one of those
Yeah.
people.
Yeah, challenge me. Shit, like tell me you don't agree with what I just said. Like because shit, I want to know. Like I don't want to just be going around spouting a bunch of bullshit and have no one to
Yeah, no,
question it.
I'm definitely like in the era of like conversation and not
Mhm.
like defensiveness. I think when I was younger, there's a big like there in myself, I was very like, "Oh, I must defend this." But in
Yes.
reality, I think there's more a lot of like what can I hear from you and what can you hear from me? And then like how can we get somewhere,
Mhm.
right? It's there's just that doesn't really exist. And I'm not trying to make anything political, I just
Yeah,
like
no.
general, even just like conversations about boundaries and just shit like that.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. I mean, it goes in all avenues. It goes in politics, religion, and everything serious like that. But then I mean, not that boundaries aren't serious, but it goes into all levels, like
I
that
know.
same way of thinking. Like you
Yeah.
kind of have to have it. I mean, I think to be just to keep yourself like in the avenue you want to be in. So many people, I think, just are completely content with not being where they want to be. Like,
Yeah. And I just wish people would do what just makes them happy, right? Like,
yeah. Like, the quote. Have you ever read Thoreau, Henry David Thoreau? I don't know if you know who that is, but he
I
wrote.
I do know who Thoreau is.
Okay, okay, I don't know. I mean, I don't want to make assumptions, but so Henry David Thoreau. Have you ever heard that quote? It's the masses of men lead lives of quiet desperation.
Yes.
Like to me, that is like that quote like hits me real hard because that is exactly what it is. Like no one wants to talk about the fact that they're not happy doing what they're doing, and yet they just live in this bubble of desperation. But to go to your point, like, I think the positivity in like the adult film industry or sex work, whatever you want to call it, is that the people who are doing it because they want to do it are the most like free people. Like,
Yeah, and I'm so lucky. Like, that's a good point to make too. Is like, I don't think I've ever worked with someone who like didn't want to be here. Now,
yeah,
of course, we're also doing these jobs to survive. I have
yeah,
those friends, but like, it's those people I work with, and they do genuinely like their jobs. Like, man, just the interesting perspectives of people and what they have about the whole sex work as it's whatever.
yeah,
But like, man, I am lucky that I work in a group of people out here that's, we all communicate boundaries, we all
mhm,
chat, we all make sure everything's good, we all do our consent checklist. I have filmed with people for 5 years now. We still do paperwork every single time.
yeah. Yeah, I think a lot of people don't know that that's how it works. Like the
I
people who are very critical of it think
Yeah,
that it's just two people who have never met each other, which sometimes I'm sure it is that you haven't met them, or met the person, but that you're just meeting and somebody's telling you, okay, now you fuck this person and here we go. We're just going to film it.
I
Like,
definitely approve of every person before
yeah,
I have sex or work with them in any capacity. I've never like shown up anywhere and someone been like, okay, this is what you're doing and this is who your scene partner is. Like,
yeah,
I get all that days before.
yeah. Cause you have a no list, right? Like a no, like this is these are the things I won't do, what I will do. Like you have that already planned out way
100%.
ahead of time.
Yeah, and usually when like I'm getting a booking or an inquiry, the first thing is like, "This is the scene I'm looking for," and my reply is, "Cool, I'm gonna do it," or "Thanks for thinking of me, but I don't do that."
Got
Like,
it. Yeah.
it's so there's a lot like this, as I can say, like I spend on KaiiaEve.com alone, like
Mhm.
I spend 35 hours a week working on her, like
Yeah.
uploading my videos, doing my shit, uploading my fucking paperwork, making sure that all my compliance is good. Like that didn't exist 2 years
Mhm.
ago, making sure all of our 2257s and our model releases are uploaded. But every website requires us to do that shit now or tag us in some way or form. I spend the most time making sure that my content is compliant with terms of service, making sure it has the right paperwork IDs. Like that's the biggest part for me that I
Yeah.
spend the time on. And it is very missed upon a lot of people that is how it is. It isn't the
Yeah.
whole job. It's crazy, right?
I know it. Well, it's so funny because like every time that I do, an interview with someone who is in like sex work, and then I post like the little clips over, it's so many people that just like shit on it, like that are just like these people, saying like horrible shit. It's like if you actually like listened to the episode, or not just mine, but anybody, like it's not what you think it is. I don't like it's
Yeah,
actually it doesn't feel that much different than you're just like shooting a fucking soap opera, except there's penetration. Other than
yeah,
that, like it's kind of the same thing. I mean, like nobody gives a shit whenever they do a sex scene in a movie. Nobody's like, oh, what a, like some of the words people will say, like, nobody's saying that shit about Angelina Jolie or something like that. Like she's been nude in movies. Nobody gives a fuck. But
yeah.
you or someone in porn, like, oh no, 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 that's way different because you're having sex. Well, it's not like real. I mean,
It's funny you bring it up, and so there's a I have a friend, he has a podcast called Hard Lore.
mhm,
They're like hardcore music, interview a lot of people from like the hardcore music community.
yeah,
And I thought it was like be a really cool like crossover if they came out to AVN.
yeah,
And my podcast, which will be released, we're hoping one day soon. Okay.
I know,
But I
yeah,
went there with my podcast, and I have been listening to hardcore music since I was 12 years old, literally
mhm,
12 years of my life. And I listen to my friend's band, like
yeah,
it's a very tight knit group, if you will, of like a community. Everyone kind of knows everyone. And then of
mhm,
course there's the crowd, the huge crowd, you know, like there's like the prominent people that I've known for 20 years, and then there's all the people that have come and gone and whatnot. But just because of that, you know, I was surprised in two ways when they ended up posting their episode that they came to AVN. There was so many people that thought it was so cool, but then there were so many people that were like so hating on it, and like, you know, that Pornhub puts like child porn up on,
Oh, Jesus fucking
shit like that,
Christ.
right?
Yeah.
If you just like go look at these fucking lawsuits, if you just take one fucking second, the whole Pornhub thing, that has actually, like, that's been dismissed because of the complete bullshit that surrounded the fucking evangelical Christian group that like started this attack on it, right?
Yeah.
And just saying, like, it takes a 5-second Google search to figure that out for yourself. But you know, just it's really nice seeing so many people thinking how cool it is.
Yeah.
But it's still so crazy to me that there are literally still fucking people who have the mindset of people I was growing up with 20 years ago of like, I can't believe you give a slut a platform. Like, is this not 2024 of our year Lord and Savior? Like, come on.
The amount of times I've heard like that exact phrase basically is insane to me. Like, of course I do. Yeah, obviously I'll hear stuff that's like, oh yeah, that was interesting or blah, blah, you know, whatever. But then there's so many people like one was like why are you simping for these harlots? I was like, simping. So one had to Google what that meant. And then I was like, I don't think that's what I'm doing, but I was like, maybe it comes across that way. I was like, I don't know. I'm just talking to people who are interesting. Like,
I think that ends up being dudes that are just so jealous that like they could never have the confidence in themselves to do what you do. Like, it takes balls not only to like make a fucking YouTube channel just of yourself, but like to interview other people. Like, it's a little nerve-wracking messaging people. I do it. Like, do you want to be on my podcast? Like,
it's the worst feeling.
Yeah, dude, it's a lot. I get it. And you know, people who want to talk shit, I'm like, you know what? That's totally fine. Like, you do whatever the fuck you need to do behind your fucking I love fucking whatever the fuck 69 username, you know, like bunch of losers.
Oh yeah, and it's always people who I guarantee you have some of the probably most deranged search histories ever. And you're just like, you're the one.
We're all in your search history. We know it. But that's why they're like, he's like, but that's what they're like. I just came and I'm so fucking mad. I'm gonna come and talk shit to you because now I'm mad that I just came everywhere to this porn star and you talk to her. I hate you.
It's amazing. Have you ever read Pornhub comments? It's the greatest thing in the world. It's something that I never really paid much attention to until one day I kind of stumbled upon them. And now it has become, I mean, I can't really do it now because I'm in fucking Texas and no more.
Oh wow, it's all blocked out there, isn't it?
Everything. And not everything, you know, if you're a little bit of a sleuth like me, you can kind of yeah, exactly. You can find some stuff here and there, but no. Pretty much all the main sites are completely banned. Yeah. But I used to go read like the comments and they're always just like the funniest shit ever.
Like, I know that's happening. Very obviously. It's like very on the forefront of my timeline. I just like, I'm sorry, what? Where do I live right now?
Oh, you mean with Texas banning like
all these states? It's been
it's not just Texas.
10 or something like
it's
that.
Something like that. Yeah. It is.
Have you guys ever heard of, now going out on a limb here, parental controls? Perhaps. I don't know, because I'm letting you know, even in the early 2000s, they worked on my TV. They even worked on my TV. So
that's why
I wasn't allowed to watch porn. I had to go to the neighbor's house and sneak it in her dad's secret bathroom to watch it. So guys, that easy.
That's how I learned about IFC, the channel. Yeah, because that channel would show nudity, and it was just like a regular channel, so it didn't get blocked on like the blocker. So I would turn it on there and watch like some foreign film that was actually like amazing, but I was just watching it because it said on the little description that it had N for nudity.
Had titties.
Exactly. So I'm watching it, waiting. So I'm watching like E tu mamá también, like and waiting for them to show her tits, and then I was like, meanwhile, I'm being cultured by some of the best movies ever made. It was.
Did you remember? Okay, it was on Oxygen. Okay, there was this show. It was called Oh my god.
Oxygen.
Oh, it was on Oxygen. It was like a soft core porn show, and it would be on
Really?
Oxygen. Yes, I cannot remember the name of it, but it would be like the premise was soft core porn. It was like some predicament, some woman in distress, something, and then like
Yeah.
there would be a soft core sex scene, and it was on
Really?
Oxygen at night, like on the weekends, like when Dr. Sally would come on.
Oh, Dr. Ruth?
Doctor,
Dr.
yeah,
Sally.
who was it? Dr. Ruth. She talked like the older lady
Yeah,
talks.
that just died.
Yes, is that Dr.
Yeah,
Ruth?
that's Dr. Ruth.
Dr. Ruth. Okay,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
it would come on around like that would come on after the show on Oxygen,
Okay.
and
Rough.
then there was another show on MTV when I was like in the third or the second grade. It was called Undressed.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, there was Undressed, and then there was also on, I think it was Fuse TV. There was Pants Off, Dance Off.
Oh,
Do you
I did
remember
not.
that? So it
No.
was like they would just have some chick on there and guys too. Like it would be like girls and guys, but they would like have a music video playing and they would like strip dance while the music video is playing. Like that was the show, Pants Off, Dance Off. And oh yeah, I used to fucking go to work watching that one. I was like, because my internet was like dial up, so
Yeah.
I would get to like Lisa Ann's forehead and be like, all right, I think this ain't gonna work for me. So I'd turn it on to Comedy Central at midnight and watch the Girls Gone Wild commercials.
Yes. Yes. And Howard Stern was also on there.
Oh, that
Like,
was
talk about porn stars come on his
look,
show.
I mean, this may be obvious. Howard Stern was a bit of an influence for me. So as,
Legend.
as you can kind of
An
tell, yeah.
absolute but a legend.
Yeah, I mean, he's not as much of an influence now, but
But I
yeah,
get it. I
yeah.
get
As
it.
as a kid, I was like,
Oh,
that guy
100%.
has the greatest life in
We
the
were all
world.
watching Howard Stern behind our
Oh
parents'
yeah,
backs.
yeah. It was all that, but yeah, IFC was a big one. Like there were so many just like amazing movies that I saw, like independent films that I just watched because they had nudity in them.
You're so
So
lucky.
yeah, it
What a
was.
time we grew up in. Cable.
God, I
Wow.
know. You know what? Okay, you want to know how like I feel like they could have told me that if I found like the cure for like AIDS, that they would give me unlimited porn and I would have had the cure within about 3 hours. Like I was so like ingenious when it came to figuring out how to like find nudity and shit. So like we would get those HBO free previews, where you get
Yeah.
it for like a weekend, and I would record like real sex,
I love
and
Perfect.
it's still the greatest show ever made, I think.
Great
But
show.
I would record it, or like Cat House, which
Oh, love Cat
yeah,
House.
that was an interesting one. What was her name? Air Force Amy or something like that. That was one that, yeah.
I think Air Force Amy is still around to this day.
I'm so happy to hear
Still
that.
out there, I think, at the brothels, like
Yeah,
bless her
God,
soul.
that's
I don't
yeah.
actually know anything about her, like at all, genuinely.
No,
I just
I
know
don't
she's
either.
still. I heard from another friend who was working out there, like, oh, Air Force Amy.
Yeah.
I was like, shut up.
God.
I watched her when I was 6 years old.
Yes. Yeah. So I would record them on our DVR and
Yes.
change the title to
Yes.
something that I knew my parents wouldn't give a shit about, so that they wouldn't like accidentally look at it.
That's so funny.
Yeah. And yeah. It was like my weird little stash, like a public stash though. I was like really kind of playing with fire on that though. Yeah. Mm.
It's fine. Right. Yes.
Yeah.
It wasn't as easy to just look at a pair of titties. Like you're not even looking for penetration. You're just looking for a pair of titties.
Yeah.
That was hard to find just like 20 years ago.
Oh, I mean, I would watch like Girls Next Door. That was a big one too. And because it was like one of the only shows where the blurring of the nipples wasn't like pixelated. It was just it was barely blurred. So I would watch that and I'd be like, holy shit. Yeah, there was so many, so much of that boy, it's kind of embarrassing.
You guys don't understand the pain we suffered.
It was.
And now you're banning this from look what we used to do. This is what you're going to put us back to.
Yeah, and I'm not saying the point is for everybody and that everybody should watch it. not at all. And I
No,
think that
I
there's a
agree with
lot of people who get the wrong impression. I think there's a lot of people who look at it, which I've said this a few times. Okay, so it's like the same people who, they want to ban like back in the day heavy metal and then like later like video games because they were
Yes,
like it makes my kid violent or it caused my kid to off
you
themselves.
make your kid violent, actually.
Well, exactly. So with that being said, though, I do think that it played a role for some people. I think there are some kids who already have some issues that whenever they see a violent video game, it makes them want to be violent.
Of course.
That is not Rockstar's fault or whatever company made
No,
the video game.
no,
So
it's
you
not.
don't ban it, you just monitor your kids.
Period.
Like, yeah, and my parents didn't monitor a fucking thing.
It's weird, right? Because okay, wait. I need to rephrase what I'm about to say because I never like to give away where I went, like where
Okay,
but
gotcha,
there was a very big shooting when I grew up that
uh-huh,
happened, like, and like,
gotcha.
how can you tell me that banning porn is the answer when shootings happen every single day, but
Yeah,
we don't ban guns? And I don't think we should ban guns. That's
right.
not my
Same.
stance
Yeah,
whatsoever.
yeah.
I am a gun owner myself. I live in
Mhm.
fucking Las Vegas. Of course I own a gun. But
Amen.
you know
Yeah,
what?
you get
Like
it in the airport. It's like
right.
filet when you go to Hawaii.
You can get it right when you're getting your groceries. You
Yeah,
can walk into
Texas is the same
Walmart,
way.
you know?
Yeah.
But it's like we have like people want, stronger gun laws, and I
Mhm.
don't really know if I care about discussing my politics about that. But like the
Sure.
point
Yeah.
that I am making though is like people try to find solutions so that we don't just ban guns, right? So why is
Right.
there not a solution to just trying to find, an avenue for people to watch and
Mhm.
consume media that they consent to, just like how I can go on Amazon and I can rent I Spit on Your Fucking Grave, and I can watch a dude get raped with a shotgun in his ass. Um,
Yeah.
I would like to be able to sell my vampire porn. Okay. I want to be able to bite someone and have a little bit of fake blood in my video, but I can't do that.
You
So,
can't do it with fake blood.
no, fake blood is completely banned on any and every single porn platform ever. In fact,
Well, that makes sense because I haven't seen it. Yeah.
the word vampire is even banned on some sites.
That let me tell you something. And I don't know if I've ever said this. I have a real vampire fetish, but
Oh,
with
that's
like,
so lucky for you. I'm putting out a vampire video today.
well, I know what I'm doing later. Yeah.
Yes.
So I've always had one, but with like real blood. And I know that,
That's what we like. Right. I
yeah,
know. There's
I
no
know
blood.
that's weird to a lot of people, but I find it like
Wait,
really,
can I show you this? This is Sam will let me show this, I'm sure. So I'm filming. I finished this like gore film that I'm gonna be in. I'm sure people, if they know who I am, if you don't know who I am, I've been in some like I would say indie gore
mhm.
porns. The feature is like it's more focused on like the story and the gore and the blood and guts. It's not necessarily focused on the sex.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Sam Hell is his name. He's amazing. We've done
Mhm.
a couple together. But like, so we just did this, and like, I can't fucking post. Like, I don't want to get my bestie's face because they look sleep. But like, okay, I got to murder my bestie, right?
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
So that's fake blood and tissue. That's all it is.
Yeah.
It's fake blood
Yeah.
and tissue. And we don't get to put this anywhere. And Sam sells his videos via Blu-ray. He will package and distribute them via Blu-ray, and that's the only way he can. And otherwise,
That's so
like
crazy.
other like some of the videos he gets submitted to like some like indie
Mhm.
movie fests that are not in the United States. Um,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
but yeah,
So
like I love making that kind of shit. I just don't really even have an avenue to do it in the United States unless it's direct
yeah.
purchase.
Yeah, that's a what a pain in the ass. I mean, I can
Right.
understand if like if you're like fake, like killing a person or something like that, like where it gets into like, some like necrophilia shit, I can understand being like, let's pump the
Oh,
brakes.
okay. So that is happening in the videos that I'm in. I should
Holy fuck.
let people know that one of the videos I am dead. I am getting fucked as a dead bloody person.
All right. So
No, I understand why
Well,
that one is on a DVD, right? Like, I get
yeah,
that,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
But
But
I
like
don't
a
understand why
vampire.
uh, 100%. I don't understand why I can't, like, be drained of my blood as a vampire.
Yeah.
That's, I guess, my point, right? Those extremes. I can understand why we're not putting out dead necro porn for the whole world to see. That should be behind a very strict paywall, okay? But,
Yes.
like,
Or
most
Ted Haggert's
people
house. Yeah.
but and like I think like people who are like who the fuck is watching that?
Mhm.
It's people who have fetishes and who are exploring it in a really healthy, good way. Like, I'm sorry, you want someone to go and actually do this in their own personal life. It's
Yeah.
called fantasy for a reason. I'm not making your reality for you. I am making a fantasy. Just
Right.
like every day, these people in Hollywood are making fantasy movies for you. I mean, there's no gravity in fucking space, yo. And we're also not ripping guts out and eating them and having sex with dead bodies most of
Right.
the time, okay?
Yeah. Well, that's a kind of a crazy fucking thing about it too, is the fact that people are perfectly okay showing crazy violence, like wild violence, like in horror movies and not horror movies, like war movies, like Saving Private Ryan. I remember watching whenever I was 5 years old, and it made me so sick, like at my stomach, like sick of my stomach watching it, because it was like very hard to distinguish that that was not real. Like I wasn't in my little 5-year-old mind, I was seeing people get their heads blown off and shit. Like, but that's okay. Like they can show that on at 2 in the afternoon on, every fucking Memorial Day. But if you show like if you show a nipple, the world will end. And
Yeah.
that to me is
And
such a
I
weird thing.
For me,
Like,
like the bigger problem is right is like I do think that like Saving Private Ryan should be able to be shown on TV with the proper warnings and
yeah,
showing that this is like the rating of the film. I do think that that should be allowed just as much as I think that it should be allowed that like a nipple should be able to be
yes,
on. But like, I get it. Have it on HBO behind a paywall. Like I get these things and I'm
mhm,
not ignorant. I'm not like, yeah, put porn on channel 2, please. Like, that's insane. That
yeah,
is insane. What I
right,
make is for adults only. I am not
yes,
making this with the intention of someone who is not an adult to watch
mhm,
this or consume this.
right,
And because of that, like for me, the whole from there and then over to like when we're talking about, movies, like that's the disconnect is like why is it so easy for so many people to be able to distinguish watching a movie
mhm,
versus you watching my porn. I don't understand why I am now like your educator as a porn performer. I can do that. I
yeah,
can educate you on my own platform in my own time. But if
mhm,
I want to make my own fantasy, porn flick about vampires fucking each other, then I should be able to do that just like True Blood did. Like suck my dick.
yes, yes. How the fuck is True Blood? Like, how does that
Well,
not?
it's
I
on
mean,
Showtime and it's behind a paywall, right? So like
yes,
you buy it you buy it, your parents can put in parental controls, and then
mhm,
you can't access the adult rated stuff if you have and boom, oh look, problem solved. And like when did that become so hard to figure out? Like I
yeah,
remember in my like it was like probably like 2008, 2007, and it was like parental controls were like all the rage. Like
yes,
we were like putting parental controls on shit left and fucking right.
oh
And
yeah,
parents were like, yeah, we're gonna put this parental control on that, and we're gonna track your phone. That's how we're gonna do parental control.
yeah.
And so we did start that. So like when did all of a sudden, like when did parents decide that it like wasn't their responsibility anymore? That's what I want to know.
That is really interesting because I don't know anyone who puts parental controls on their kid's phone, like
I set
family,
parental control
friends.
on everything. I didn't even have an iPhone. I didn't even have access to the internet on my phone until I think I was 21. I got my first iPhone 10 years ago. So until I was 21,
Yeah.
I either had a flip phone or a
Mhm.
slide up phone. And I
Oh,
didn't
yeah.
have access to the like I didn't have a GPS, okay? Like
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
but like with that, when I was young, when I was in the 5th grade, my little brick Nokia phone, I could
Yeah.
fucking, I could call my mom, I could call my dad, and it didn't have texting. I was
Yeah.
not allowed to have texting, and
Yeah, yeah.
it just didn't exist on my phone, and I could make calls. And then when I
Mhm.
got older, we upgraded to texting when I got to high school. And then when I finally got to college, we're like, okay, maybe you need an iPhone now. Like, when did we just go from handing a 2-year-old an iPhone? I don't know.
It's
Was it
so
just the
crazy.
millennial generation? Was it us? Because millennials, I don't know, but like it's crazy. When did it start?
It like, I feel like it's been a thing for a little while. Like, I don't know I don't know what it is with parents that do that shit now, because it is mind-boggling to me. Like, I'll, have, like, friends or family or whatever have kids, and then I'll overhear, like, the kids, like, tablet, like, walk by and hear it, and
Yeah.
the shit that I'm hearing, I'm like, "What the fuck?" Like,
Yeah,
"How are you watching this?"
my
Like
best friend has 3 children, and
Mhm.
it's actually she was telling me that she has to be very hyper aware of what they're watching on YouTube because sometimes like these videos get snuck into kids videos where you'll be watching a
Yeah.
kid video and all of a sudden you're watching like a horror movie, or
Yes.
like I just what that didn't exist when I was young. When I put on Shelley Duvall, I knew I was watching Shelley fucking Duvall. Okay, like,
Yeah.
oh my goodness, we live in really, really crazy times, right? But at the same
Yeah.
time, like with that, my friend says, like, I'm diligent and I watch what my kid watches.
Right.
And I curate a YouTube playlist that I make myself.
Yeah.
Like, there are just so many extra steps that like you have to take if you're allowing technology into your life because you're not just like putting a VHS in, you're not just putting on
Mhm.
Nickelodeon or Disney Channel anymore. Like, you know what I mean? It's like
Yeah.
I think it's just been lost upon like how much more technologically advanced of a world that we live in, and now all of a sudden it's like everyone else's fucking problem.
Yeah. The
There's great
yeah.
parents out there, though. Let me say
No,
that.
there's
I have
100%.
most of my friends that have children. I know, they're putting parental controls on their shit.
Mhm.
They're looking at their shit. They're like, I know that a lot of parents are doing that, and I
Yeah.
think that there is even when I say this, like I think people like the laws that are being made,
Mhm.
about we need to protect the children. Like, I can even probably guarantee that a lot of people don't even agree with those laws
Yeah.
if they knew what the implication was behind it at the end of the day. If there was education behind it, if you knew what was at the like your freedom's lost. Like, I just think that there's been also a lack of like just critical thinking and education, but that's a
Well,
whole other
yeah.
day.
Yeah, that's huge part of it, is stupid parents tend to raise stupid kids, or careless parents raise careless kids, like, and if you're a kid, you don't know any fucking different. Like, I
No,
mean,
and
I
100%.
would have been looking up crazy shit as a kid if I had the option. I just didn't have the option. Like, that
Same.
was it. Yeah, like, as soon as I had the option, some of the first shit I looked up on YouTube or, like,
The
on the
Olympics.
internet.
Let's go. Like,
Yes, or, like, people getting ran over by trains. Like, I was watching, like, wild
dude,
shit. I have spent probably 6 months of my life watching 9/11 videos.
okay, but like, look at you, right? You're not a totally fucked up, crazy, like, okay,
Yeah,
maybe to some
no.
other people's standards, but
Yes,
for
yeah,
me, like,
right.
I'm like, okay, well, in the grand scheme of things, like, you did live that life and you did have access to,
Mhm,
unsavory material as a 6, 7, 8 year old. And
yeah.
I think you're doing just fine. So I don't know.
Thank
Maybe
you.
it's a parent and education issue. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah,
But
and just some people react to things different, like, some people get different things out of things. Like, whenever I was watching those videos, I wasn't like, I didn't enjoy watching 'em. I just watched it, like, if that makes sense. Like, I would just have this weird curiosity in my head of, like, I wonder what, what it looks like. And so I would watch a video and then immediately be very disgusted or
yeah,
feel sad, like, mostly sad. I would watch, like, 9/11 videos and just be like, almost, like, crying. And then I was
yeah.
like, "Why?" Like, I chose to watch that. Why am I doing this? Like, but I was just, you know, I don't know.
It's
I've
like
always had, like,
I get it though, it's like TikTok, you just keep fucking scrolling.
yeah, and I've always had a morbid curiosity, like a morbid fascination with everything. Was like, obsessed with like serial killers and fucking mass
Yeah,
shootings, cults, like all that kind of stuff. Like, I've just been fascinated by like the dark side of humans, but I've
because
never
I'm
wanted to
not
be
that.
one.
It's very fascinating to me because 'cause I'm not that. Like, that's
Exactly.
why I think it's
Yeah.
interesting being able to see people who can get twisted and sucked up into those kinds of things because like
Yes.
I feel like a pretty normal person. Like maybe I have differing opinions than
Right.
a lot of people, but collectively I'm like a
Yeah.
pretty normal person. Like I
Ex
went to college, I have an
yeah.
education, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
exactly, and I've never had an urge to, like, to hurt someone, to screw someone over, to hurt an animal, like, none of those kinds of
no,
things.
it's sickening, but
Yes, but
that's the
I've
part that's fascinating is the sickening part.
yeah, and trying to figure out, like, how did that happen to you? Like, why
100%.
are you like that? Like, why is Ted Bundy like Ted Bundy? Like, why
Yeah,
is Jeffrey Dahmer? How does that happen to someone? Like, someone who seemingly had a pretty normal upbringing. I mean, Jeffrey Dahmer, not so much, but,
I know what
like
you mean, though. I get
yeah,
it, though. Just understanding like the psyche and how people get pushed
yeah,
to the way that they
because
get
then I
pushed, and
yeah, because then I wonder, like, damn, how close was I to coming to that? Like, was I just, like, 1 or 2 bad things away from becoming one of those people? Like, I don't know. Like, yeah, it's just fascinating, but, a lot of people just look at that as like, "Oh, you're a crazy person for wanting to learn about this shit." I'm just a curious person, and,
yeah,
like, sex was always a thing that, like, I was never, like, allowed to talk about, like, "We don't talk about this." I never had the talk or any of that kinda stuff. So I was just like, "Well, I mean, I'm gonna learn about this some way." So I would just,
it's like
watch
sex
porn.
was so taboo that like we didn't get to talk about it or see it, and now I've read that like Gen Alpha, is that
Yeah,
like your
so
generation? I
yeah.
was I was reading, it was not TikTok. Like I clicked on an article that was just talking about how the younger generations do think that the world is too sexualized now. And I found that interesting because I'm like, what an interesting thing to say because like if
Mm.
only you were to reflect back into 2019, like it's always been that way. Just
Yeah,
very
yeah, I
like
don't
through ads, through marketing. I mean, fucking Paris Hilton used to sell fucking Burger Kings in a bikini. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like,
she did. Yeah.
so I
It
just
would yeah.
I am happy that I do live in 2024 where I can post a more provocative picture on the internet and more people cheer me on now than 20 years ago where there were girls who were like, what a fucking slut, when in reality you want to tell me that you think I'm hot and you want to make out with me, and now here we are in 2024 and you bitches are actually doing it, and that's like that's what I do. I love that about where we're at now.
Yeah.
But I wish, people who like, oh, we live in such a sexualized world. Like, have you ever been in this world? It's always been like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, yeah,
And now we just get to make money. And now us bitches just get to fucking be hot and actually capitalize off of it instead of you
right,
calling me a fucking whore while I work my 9 to 5. And now I get to just go be the whore. I don't even have to do the 9 to 5 now. You know?
right, exactly, and, yeah, I mean, like, porn's always been a thing. Like, it's not like porn started in, like, 2000. It's not like Jenna Jameson
One of the
invented
first
porn.
videos ever created was a porno.
Yes, and the first movie theaters were designated to porn. They were called Odeons, and it cost a
Yes, they
nickel
were.
to get in, so Nickelodeon. Like, that's where Nickelodeon comes from. It was, like,
Yes,
the
they
first
were.
porn theaters. Like, it's always been a thing, and, go to, like, the '60s, '70s, like, all that, then, like, Baywatch. I mean, everything's been sexual. Like, nobody was watching Baywatch because of the acting.
Are
Like,
you sure?
I mean, I'll admit the Hoff has some skills, He's in a different world, he could have been, Mel Gibson. Uh,
Yeah, and
actually,
I
he
guess
kinda was Mel Gibson in a lot of ways.
that was just more my point, is like we live in this like really crazy world right now. All this, trying to block fucking Texas, all these states from seeing shit. But
Yeah.
like, I hope people do realize that we definitely do live in like the freest era that we've ever gotten to live in. And like,
Yeah.
we could very well not one day. Like, that isn't a guarantee, like
Mhm.
our freedoms and what we're offered. So, just I hope people just keep that in mind because in
Yeah.
an instant, if Texas can take away porn, so can the whole entire United States. Just
Yeah.
remember what's important, people.
Porn. Titties.
Porn is so important. No,
Boobs.
your
Yeah.
freedom to be able to watch what you want to watch and consume what you want to consume. That's what's
Yes.
important.
Yeah, did you ever watch The People versus Larry Flint?
Yeah, I
It's a
did.
great movie, but it's like the
Great
whole
movie.
center of that movie is that like Edward Norton's character is the lawyer saying like, I hate Larry Flint. I do not like this guy. but I like that I live in a world where his magazine exists and I can walk past a newspaper stand and not buy it. That's it.
100%. That's the point,
Yeah,
right?
that's the same thing with like heavy metal, with video game, all these things that people despise, some groups despise. You just don't buy it. You have the choice, and that's the best thing about it. Is that you're not in a world where you're
Freedom of
being
choice is
programmed.
great. It's a pretty great freedom,
It's the
and
best freedom there is. So the freedom of choice is better than any other freedom, I think. Yeah. I have a few random questions if you want. Boy, it's gonna take
yeah,
a real left turn because
let's do it.
these are real dumb. But here we go. Childhood celebrity crush.
Oh, okay. Unfortunately, it
Uh-oh.
was Johnny Depp when I was really little.
Why is that unfortunate? I mean,
You
come
know,
on.
I don't need to get into it,
All
but the
right,
man
gotcha.
has not the best track record with women. That's that.
Well, yeah, Kate, I had a real thing for Winona Ryder as a kid
I
and
see.
still do, I
I
guess. Yeah.
didn't know that. Like, I was like, it's funny. I didn't know that I was gay, even though I was definitely making out with my neighbor who was a girl when we were like 7.
It's a
You
good
know,
sign.
didn't
Yeah.
know. Um,
Yeah.
so like in reality, like I crushes, like I watched the movie Girls Just Want to Have Fun with Sarah Jessica Parker
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah,
every
yeah.
day of my life. And I don't necessarily think Sarah Jessica Parker is like all that great now. But like when I was little, her in that little aerobics outfit, she's doing all those dance moves.
Yeah.
That and oh, what's her fucking name in Dirty Dancing?
Sarah Gray, Jennifer Gray.
Jennifer Grey.
Jennifer Grey is
Woo!
so attractive to me.
Woo! Oh, and those
Yes.
outfits when she's dancing with the girl she's replacing and their little spandex little
Yes.
like those
Yeah.
when I was young, I don't know why I wanted to rewatch those scenes, but definitely those were my crushes. And then when I got older,
Yeah.
my celebrity crush was Zach Bagans from Ghost Adventures.
Really? That's an interesting one.
Yes. It might be
Huh.
embarrassing now, but it wasn't then.
No, well, I don't know. It might have been a
He
little
wears
then
True
too.
Religion jeans and has angel wings tattooed on his back. You can make fun of me.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good. I mean, that's funny. Yeah. See, it's funny how movies that you watch when you're a kid like shape what you're attracted to. So, whenever I was a little kid, I remember watching. Again, this going back to the whole like, let me find a movie with nudity in it or whatever. Which I don't even know if this movie had nudity. Now I think about it. Maybe it did. A Girl Interrupted. I remember I used to watch that movie all the time when I was a kid for some reason, and had such a thing for Angelina Jolie in that movie.
Like,
Like
why are they all
oh,
so hot in that ward? Why?
her, Winona Ryder, Brittany Murphy, like
Brittany Murphy,
so I also had a huge thing for Brittany Murphy as a kid. Like her in Clueless, like obviously
Christina
like
Ricci,
Christina Ricci was a good one too. Yeah.
Casper.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And
When
yeah,
you're young, Casper. I
yeah,
am
yeah,
now
that's what I'm saying.
old.
Yeah, not now, but yeah. Well, yeah, well, yeah, just like whenever I was a little kid, I had a thing for Amanda Bynes. I wouldn't go back and watch that show now and feel that way, but like I
Period.
or feel that way at all anyway. Yeah.
She's
But
looking great these days, actually. Personally, I like
really?
I like her face tattoos.
I've I have not kept up with the goings on of Amanda Bynes, but hopefully
She's
Amanda, you're doing good. That's the
I can't necessarily comment on it, but I like I don't know, but I love her. I hope she's doing
yeah,
okay. Her
yes,
and her heavy naturals.
yeah. That's what yeah. God, Angelina, I gotta watch Girl Interrupted again.
It's
Holy
great.
fuck. Like, yeah, I've just always had a thing for like kind of crazy people.
Yeah.
Like
Ooh,
crazy is very attractive to me because I'm kind of mild mannered in most ways. I'm pretty like slow
okay.
moving animal.
I'm insane.
Um,
So
yeah.
I
So somebody who's just
love crazy.
yeah, someone who's just batshit crazy is so fucking hot to me. And Angelina Jolie in that movie. Oh, uh, another huge one was Evan Rachel Wood in 13. I don't know if you ever watched that movie, but
Oh, are
oh,
you kidding me? Eva Longoria in 18?
Eva
Isn't that Eva
Longoria.
Longoria?
No, 13 with Evan Rachel Wood and
Yeah.
Nikki Benz.
No, isn't that Eva Longoria?
There's no way she's in that movie.
I'm looking right now.
It's Holly Hunter as the mom, which Holly Hunter's super hot too. Um, no, it's like Nikki Reed. I said
Nikki
Nikki.
Reed.
Yeah, I said Nikki Benz. God, I got the old one on the mind. Yeah, no, Nikki Reed. From yeah, she wrote the movie. Like, it's
There
about
you go.
her
Yeah,
life.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah, yeah,
but she
yeah,
plays the friend. Yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah. So I had hit a huge thing. And then I don't know if you ever watched the movie, I think it's called Rules of Attraction with
Law of
James
Attraction.
Vanderbeek.
Is it?
Well, there's Laws of Attraction, but I think there's a movie. I think it's called Rules of Attraction. It has like Jessica Biel, like one of her first movies. James
Oh,
Vanderbeek,
oh, yeah, yeah,
Faye
yeah,
Dunaway, but Shannon Sossaman, I think is her name, or Shannon Slossman, whatever. She was in.
yeah,
I
yeah.
thought she was super
Ooh,
attractive too. Like in a
well, it's funny because Jessica Biel is in that movie, but I thought
yeah.
Jessica Biel in Texas Chainsaw Massacre with
Oh
her
my.
little white tank top and those jeans and the boots and the belt. Oh,
Yeah.
oh,
There's something about the 70s look that's so hot to me. Like the bell bottom like jeans and everything. Like, yeah, Jessica Biel's so fucking hot. All right,
that
first concert. What was your first concert?
I honestly like don't necessarily remember. I used to go to this place in Colorado. It was called Life Spot, and
Hmm.
it's where like Breathe Carolina played their first show ever
Okay.
in their entire lives. It's where 303 probably played their first show in their entire lives. So I saw a lot of like local bands there.
Gotcha.
Um, I mean,
Or
I
first big concert.
oh
So
my
like,
god, fuck. First big concert? Probably I think it was Panic at the Disco, Fall Out Boy, uh who sings the song Snakes on a Plane or something about a plane? Uh
shit.
song. Hold on,
I know exactly what you're talking about.
hold
Yeah,
on.
I mean, not to try to like pigeonhole you or anything, but I kind of could have guessed that that's what you were gonna say.
Yeah,
Panic at the Disco for sure.
it
Like,
was a Fall Out Boy concert for the record and Panic at the
right.
Disco opening with
I love
the
Panic at the Disco.
yeah, I like the
Brendan Urie, is that his name?
he has some allegations out, but
Oh, really?
we can focus on the music.
Yeah, that sucks. But yeah, I know.
Nope,
Yeah.
they all do. All right, okay. I think except Pete Wentz. I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah. God. Yeah, yeah, that's funny. Yeah, Panic at the Disco, Fallout Boy. Yeah.
Fall Out Boy.
Yeah. My first like big one was Smashing Pumpkins.
Oh, that's a good one.
It's a great one. Yeah. I'm a
That's a good first
huge
concert.
Smashing Pumpkins fan.
I wasn't
Yeah.
like really allowed to like go. My mom was very protective, and my dad was dickhead protective. So like
Yeah.
I had to like sneak these places. And what
Gotcha.
14-year-old has money to go to huge concerts? My first
Yeah.
big concert after that, like seventh grade Fall Out Boy, it was like Warped Tour. And
Oh, okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah. Yeah. That's fine. Yeah. That's
Yeah.
so interesting. So
Yeah.
were you a scene kid?
Yeah, you haven't seen my video on my
Oh, yes, I did.
yeah,
Yes. I
I
don't
was a scene
yes.
kid in the early 2000s.
Oh, that was my type back in like
Yeah.
junior, like when I was in like middle school, junior high. Holy
Oh
hell.
yeah. Oh yeah. Here,
Yeah. Like the hair like push all the way over. Yeah, that
let me
was
let me pull this up real quick just so everyone can see a visual of my scene hair.
I knew there was a reason why I was like I was thinking that, but I
I
actually think I just watched that video.
I was not just like I was a scene queen, okay? I was MySpace famous in Denver, okay? Everyone knew me as insert my real first name Tits. Kaiia Tits. That's to this day I could go home and you will hear people say Kaiia Tits.
That's
Like
amazing. What
what
if
what
yeah.
15-year-old has any business having that as their MySpace name? What is wrong
Well,
with you?
mine was Cody Tits, so I guess it's the same.
Shut up.
No.
All right,
Mine was
so
Cody
here's
Nip.
me.
Um,
I brought a picture of David Bowie into my hairstylist from the Labyrinth, and I said, "This is the haircut I want." I
God,
literally brought that picture in, and that is the haircut that she gave me, and that it isn't styled that way. Okay, my hair
mhm,
just stayed up that way. I cut it so that my hair would never flatten. It always stood up. I was always ready to fucking go. Okay,
that is amazing.
thank you.
Damn. I mean, I guess take it as a compliment. You did pull off the Bowie look.
Thank you. I
So
think I look great with a mullet. I would do it again.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, fuck it, do it again. It's kinda hot, like, in a
Maybe
way,
when I
yeah.
retire and I'm not in front of the camera, we'll think about it.
Yeah, that's mm, yeah, that's a
It's a choice. It's definitely a choice.
it's a yeah, oh, it is, for sure. What movie do you think you've seen the most?
Oh, probably. What movie have I seen the most? Probably House of a Thousand Corpses or The Devil's Rejects. Those are probably like my two top played like
Yeah.
comfort movies, if you will.
Yeah, I gotcha.
Um, but I also really like sad movies. Like I love a movie that'll make me cry my fucking eyes out.
Okay. Like
So
what, like Terms of Endearment?
I love Garden State and
Oh, okay.
like Garden. It's like funny but very sad.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And I really like the movie Closer with Natalie Portman
Mhm.
and Julia Roberts.
Yeah.
So
Have you ever seen 50-50 with Joseph Gordon-Levitt and Seth Rogen? It's like a
yes,
bittersweet movie, but there's
see,
some
like
parts that
that's
are really
okay.
sad.
That's not my kind of sad. My kind of sad is
Okay.
like, have you seen Candy with Heath Ledger where they're heroin addicts?
Yes.
Like that's my kind of
Oh, oh, okay. Oh,
yeah.
yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah. I have
That's
a few
her like with Joaquin Phoenix.
uh-huh.
Lost in Translation, which her is actually
Yeah.
a response to the movie Lost in
Yeah.
Translation.
Yeah.
In,
Scarlett Johansson.
in
Yeah, yeah.
case you didn't know that.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah,
oh,
that's
but another movie like with ScarJo, it's probably like one of my favorites right now is it
Under the Skin.
yes. Yeah, yeah.
That
Yeah.
movie's so good.
It's that's something that like when I'm just like I don't know what to fucking watch, I'll just put that movie on in the background.
Yeah. Under
Yeah.
the Skin is a great movie. I have a letter. I'll send you a few movies that are very in the vein of like Candy and see if you've seen them. Like a little
Please.
recommendations.
I'm
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
always scouring Reddit for new fucking movies.
Okay.
Like after I watched Skinamarink, I'm like, I need more movies like fucking Skinamarink. So I found
Okay.
two,
I
but
could yeah, I'll send you some because I love like recommending movies to people. If they give me like a specific thing they're looking for, I can
yeah,
usually like
I'm
pinpoint a few.
super into like art house right now, art house horror, like super
Oh,
intentional, very obscure. Not everyone's gonna want to watch it. Like, did you see the movie? We're all going to the World's Fair or something?
yeah, yeah. I haven't seen it yet. No, no, no. I know what you're
Okay.
talking about though.
That is like Skinamarink level to me. Give it a
Okay.
watch. So
Gotcha,
good.
gotcha. Have you ever seen like Snowtown?
No,
S- Okay, yeah, that's one that I'll
send me
send
a
you.
list.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And Speak No Evil is a great one too, which you may have seen. They're
I
remaking it with
haven't.
James
No, I have
McAvoy.
not. That's on the watch list.
Gotcha. Perfect. All right. And do you have a guilty pleasure TV show?
Grey's Anatomy.
Nice.
And Friends.
Friends. God damn. I hate that fucking show so much. I
I
don't
could
know why.
probably quote most episodes.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Lately, mine has become Vanderpump Rules.
Oh, what a show. I have not started Vanderpump Rules.
Yeah.
I
It's
think I it's a lot of drama. Like I miss
yeah.
Mob Wives. I miss Mob Wives
Mhm.
so deeply. I miss Big Ange. Reality TV will never be the same.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm a big Real Housewives of Beverly Hills fan. So, like, Vanderpump Rules was obviously the next way to go. It's really just an 11 season HR violation.
My bestie is watching it right now, and they're always
Oh,
texting me. They're like, "I wish you'd watch this show." I just saw
it's,
the other day like
yeah.
some divorce announcement. I'm like, I don't know who these people are, but I feel like
Jackson
speak
Brittany.
for you,
It was
bestie.
it was a long time coming for those two, to be
That's
honest.
what my bestie said. Said about
Yeah.
time.
Yeah, he's a real piece of shit. And she's actually kind of really no fucking angel either. But yeah, anyways. And then all right, last one. What game show do you think you do best on?
Oh, you know what I really wanted to go on, and I would have fucking killed it was the Real World Road Rules challenges on
God,
MTV.
it's so hard saying that. Real
Real
world
World
rules.
Road Rules Challenge.
Yeah.
Yeah, TJ Lavin was a fucking champ for announcing that every show. But yeah,
Shout out
I
TJ.
shout out
Yeah.
TJ
Yeah,
Lavin.
he follows. Yeah, he's a
Oh, he does.
yeah. TJ Lavin.
Lavin, I'm a big fan.
Hell yeah.
No, I watched like all those episodes. I had
Yeah.
favorites. I still remember the one fucking asshole. I don't remember any of the other people's names really, but
Mhm.
Johnny. That dude was such a fucking
Yeah.
dickhead, dude. I really wanted to
Yeah.
go on that show. I would have killed it. I don't think I have like the upper body strength that I used to have. I don't think I could go now. But if they're ever looking for porn stars, I would give it a shot. All right.
You could do it. I mean, well, I'm sure they always are. I mean, who isn't? But I think you get back in the gym, maybe do a little creatine, maybe cycle once or twice. You'd be oh
I got
yeah.
my mats. I'm back into doing my gymnastics calisthenics so that I can.
Well, that ain't gonna build up any of that shit. You gotta get in there and start
No,
lifting iron. Like you
no.
gotta start chugging creatine, which also creatine will give you larger breasts, which I don't know if that's something you're looking for, but I found out the hard way that it does. Um, Yeah, well, actually, needs to be said. I was doing creatine and then not working out because I didn't know that you had to. I thought it just kind of like worked. It doesn't actually. Actually, you gain a lot of weight if you just take creatine and don't do anything. Um,
Side note. Side
yeah,
note.
yeah. So yeah, well, there's that. But
I
look,
mean, I'm
this,
still
yeah,
pretty strong. I kick a lot of dudes' asses out on the rings. Okay,
Jesus,
you know.
that's pretty good. I
Yeah,
was gonna show mine, but suddenly you've become
they're
less
done.
interested in doing that. Yeah, yeah. Oh, well, yeah, nothing else, yeah.
I've been a
Me too.
gymnast my whole life, though, so I just, the muscle's still there. There might be a little bit of flab over it, but it's there.
Yeah. It's
It
like
is.
professional boxers, even when they're like 60, they could still get in there and fuck you up
Yeah, I
a lot
still
of
know where
time.
my center of gravity is, motherfuckers. Bring it on.
Oh, I don't. I've never found it. I mean, yeah, God. No, this has been amazing. So I know we're running out of time. So I've
Oh
had a
no, fine.
blast.
We're totally fine. Had a
Oh,
great time
perfect.
chatting with you.
Well, I'm glad. I'm glad. Well, this has been a blast. Before we go, one more time, where can people find you? All that good stuff.
Yeah, make sure that you give me a follow on Instagram. I'm sure I'll be tagged if this is on your socials, but just for the sake of it, my username is at PR0CVNT, pro cunt. And then my Twitter, it's backslash KAIIA underscore EVE. And then you can just head to my website, which has absolutely everything you could ever think of. It's thekaiiaeve.com. I have like a Discord page because I stream myself playing Fortnite every Monday. And if you subscribe to my TikTok, you can play Fortnite with me. So that's fun for that. And then, yeah, like my custom order video was like you can order it through there. You can look at all my porn. You can find my OnlyFans. And yeah, all that jazz.
Fuck yeah. And you can find me on MySpace and farmersonly.com.
I
So
wish I still had a
I
MySpace.
looked up mine the other day and it wasn't there anymore. That son of a bitch, Tom Anderson, wiped the whole thing clean.
Yeah, I logged on last year. I was reading they were wiping it, so I logged on and I grabbed all the pictures that I could grab, and I'm like, that's how I was able to have all those scene photos. Like, they would have been lost.
What was your profile song? Do you remember? Did you have
Oh,
one?
yeah, definitely. I mean, like, probably if we're being really honest,
I would, yes, please.
we would bounce between the vibe, like the mood, right? I would bounce between like the Millionaires, their song Alcohol, and
Okay.
that's how I learned how to spell alcohol. That
Okay.
song, or For Sure Maybe by the Medic Droid, fabulous song, or
Mhm.
Dress for Friend Request by Drop Dead Gorgeous, or any song off the first album of the Suicide Silence album when Mitch was still a vocalist.
Oh, that's a good one.
When
Suicide
he
Silence
was
is
alive,
so
may he
good.
rest in peace.
Yeah. Mitch Luker.
One of the greatest vocalists to ever walk the face of the earth.
Yeah,
Period.
I'm a big Phil Bozeman fella, big Whitechapel fan back in the day. Not so much now.
I have a Whitechapel fan.
A Whitechapel fan.
Yeah. I have a Whitechapel fan. We don't have to
Nice.
talk about it further.
No, I think I kind of read between the lines on that one, but amazing. All right. Well,
They're a great
until
band.
yes, they are. Yeah. All right. Until next time, goodbye.